Hello, hello, here I am. It is Monday, it's Anzac Day. If you are in Australia or New Zealand, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it seems like ages since I have been here in the chair, in the driver's seat. All my good little things are around. I've still got my duck sitting here, and I've got my biscuit tin, which the computer normally sits on, and got myself a drink. So it seems like a couple of weeks since I've been here, or longer than that, but it has only been a couple of weeks. So I'm Yvonne from Women's Fitness Adventures, and thank you for joining me for Monday Night Live. My voice sounds a little bit croaky. I'll explain why in just a moment. But if you are watching, please drop me a note in the comments that you're watching. I know I've had some inquiries during the week of how does this work? Do you have to be a member to watch? Absolutely not. But I know that there's quite a few of you watching, and I would love it if you would pop a comment in the chat box there and let me know where you're watching from, whether this is your first time, you're a member, or anything else you'd love to share, whether you had some great moments today for Anzac Day as well. And we'll get going from there. So hello, Gay from Brisbane. Hi, Brodwin. I hope you're well. Yeah. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Tess, just more down the road from me, actually. Hi, Karen, and hi, Patricia. Thank you all. And hi, Suzanne. Lovely you made it, Suzanne. That's lovely. Yelena from Toowoomba, Andrea from Cinnamon Park. We've got everyone popping on tonight. So it's so lovely to have you here. As I said, I do have a bit of a creaky throat. Oh, hello, Di. Creaky throat, croaky throat. And I have still, and hi, Kristen, how are you? First time, excellent. And I've seen your name on some emails today. I have had COVID. I get out of jail free on Wednesday. So I have spent a fair bit of time in bed. It did knock me around quite a bit. And my husband got it 2 days after me. So he sounds like a barking dog. If you hear this barking happening in the background, then that is my husband. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Annie. Hi, Lynette. From all over the place, all over Australia today. So yes, I have had the dreaded COVID. It was bound to catch up at some point. It's knocked me out quite a bit. And yeah, I've still got 2 days to go. So still feeling a little bit cranky in the throat, or croaky, can't even think straight in the throat. But glad that, at least I've got some extra immunity from having had it as well, which will stand me in good stead. But one thing I do realize is that when I'm not well, and I don't get unwell very often at all, it makes me really appreciate just how good it is to feel great, not just good, to feel great. And I cannot wait to get back to feeling great again. And I hope that that won't take me too long. Well, I know it won't take me too long, because as soon as I'm able to, I'm going to get outdoors, get some fresh air, and just start with walking. So hi, Laurie from the Queensland Alps. It must be cold out there at Stanthorpe. Kerry, thank you. Yes, I am improving. Hi, Wendy from Mitta as well. So I've been keeping track of everyone, but I have been laying pretty low for a couple of days, just doing what as I said, some of you pointed it out to me, just doing what I would recommend to everybody else, and just nurturing myself and taking it easy and allowing for total rest. So there's lots to catch up on, because the last time we spoke, I was heading off to our Mt Moffat hiking and camping adventure. And that seems like ages ago now, and it bumped right into Easter. And then we had Easter, and then I got home from Easter and got the COVID on the day that I got home. I was diagnosed, or tested positive, I should say, is a better description. And so I've kind of been knocked out for the past week. So it's been, at least 2 weeks now, trying to get my head back in the game, so to speak. So there's lots and lots of things I have to share or want to share with you. And you may have received a newsletter from me this afternoon if you've checked your emails. So I have been doing some stuff. And one of the things at Mt Moffat, it showed us and taught us so much. So it was a hiking and camping adventure. We all had our own tents. It was like a little village, like a little Lego, setting up little Lego in the beginning. And some of us had camped before, and some of us had not. And it was just great to see that, this amazing group of women had come together, and whether we had the skills or not to set up our own camping, we all got in there and gave it a go, and everyone's tent was able to go up, and everyone's tent stayed up, and everyone pitched in, and we had just the most amazing time. And the national park is quite remote. We had no internet access for days, which was fantastic because we didn't hear anything about the federal election being announced, which was great. And we saw, I think, maybe 4 or 5 people during the whole course of our week out there. We also saw a lot of Indigenous art. The national park is, whilst it's remote and it's not particularly well known, it's quite famous. It had the last bushrangers in Australia. It had an old wool track when wool was, in the western downs of Queensland, which, sheep did not survive. So that wool track was no longer in existence, but great history there. It also had lots and lots of Indigenous art and very historical sites there. And one of them in particular was, when you look at the rock and you see all the ochre blown images and stuff of a full Indigenous person. And there's very few of those in full form anywhere in the world. And we were really fortunate enough to be able to see that. And with Craig, our leader, our guide, tell us the full story behind it as well. So it was really amazing. We got to do some parts of the Great Walk through Carnarvon, or one of the sections of the Carnarvon Great Walk as well. And it was just truly amazing. But one of the things I did, which is, if you read the newsletter, you'll see the picture, and I'll throw the picture up shortly. Yes, Lorelei, we will be doing some more camping. Is that I stood at almost the headwaters of a river called the Maranoa River. And if you're in Queensland, in particular country Queensland, you know that at times this can be a particularly mighty river. Now, let me just, I've got technology on my side today. I'm going to add this to my stream here. So you can see here that this picture of me with the blue shirt on at the top, hopefully everyone can see that, let me know if you can't, is of me standing at a puddle, literally, which is the Maranoa River. And the picture below is me standing at this bay called Clayton Bay in South Australia. And the picture on the left, which I've got the arrow on, I don't know if you can see my arrow, the Murray-Darling Basin. We're right up the top here where the Maranoa starts to feed in. And if you go right to the very bottom where Adelaide is, just above my head, if you can see that, is this, I've drawn the squiggly line on the pink there, is where I was staying, the one with looks like a big circle, and then the little arrow where the rest of the river, Mighty Murray, flows out through to the mouth. And what that, to me, and when I said to everyone, here I am at the beginning of the Maranoa, which feeds into, eventually over time, the Murray-Darling, and then, becomes this massive, really important waterway for the whole of our country. And then here I am at the end of the week, standing at the end of the system, and it goes out into the ocean. And to me, hi Joe, Vanessa, hi Meg, it's this from little things, big things grow. And I've often spoken of the compounding fitness effect of the little things that we do every single day that add up over time. And it's just like that with the river, that this little puddle that I was standing in front of, over time, will get water, get droplets of water, and those droplets of water become bigger and stronger, and they start to chart their course and make their way on this path all the way down to other river systems. And as that momentum grows and grows, the force inside, or the force of the river, gets stronger, and it becomes an unstoppable thing. And you can liken that to fitness. You can liken that to our hiking. We can apply those principles to anything, because it's that compounding fitness, or that consistency over time equals results, which is what we always talk about, and always talk about inside our membership as well. If you're watching and you're not a member, I'm just going to pop up here. You can jump onto the website and click on there to join membership. Our membership is open at the moment, and there's monthly and annual options as well. So tonight I'm going to talk about consistency over time equals results. And if I have to have a sip of my pink lemonade, well, it's actually Hydrolite, then it's just because my voice is still a little croaky, cranky, whatever you want to call it. So a couple of the questions that I get asked, which are going to come back to this, from little things, big things grow, and our compounding fitness over time, is... Kristen, I'm just going to pop this up. That is great. So they also join together with other water molecules. Yep, like fitness in a group of supportive people. Absolutely, Kristen. And I'm not a scientist, and if I've upset anyone about the Murray River system, I do apologise. But it is, when we gather that support, and when we gather that momentum, great things can happen. So let me bring this back to, and Margaret, really good to see me back on form. I don't know, I think I've got a bit of fog still happening in here. So if I say the wrong thing, please guys call me out. So consistency over time equals results. And I get a lot of questions all the time. And when I haven't been laying up in bed this week, I've just been working because I can't go out of the house. And nobody in our house really wants to talk to each other at the moment. We're just keeping our space from each other. So the 3 questions I get asked, which come back to this river system, is, am I going to be fit enough for my hiking? Well, I've got 3 things I want to talk about. One is that, am I going to be fit enough? Secondly is that, are you making hiking your priority? And thirdly, are you showing up time and time again? Now, stick with me on this one. It's a bit like this. Once you start and you get the skills and then you think you can do it on your own and you can just pick it up anytime. And I've been lying in bed thinking, okay, well, this is me. I'm laid out for a week. And I know, a couple of our members who are on our treks coming up are in isolation as well, whether that's themselves personally or with partners, and what happens during that time. But, I think that unless we're focused on our hiking fitness, if we've got an adventure coming up and if we focus on that hiking fitness, then that should be the priority, because it's really important to, especially as we get older, to make sure that we're, minimizing any chance of injury, minimizing or any risk of injury or any chance of injury, but also any illness as well, or anything that might, give us a great hike, but then cause us to, be fatigued afterwards or injured afterwards or have blisters on our feet where we can't walk for days and days and days. So this is what I talk about when I say consistency over time. So am I fit enough is always the question I get asked. So am I going to be fit enough for the hike? I haven't even decided on a hike yet. Am I going to be fit enough? Well, the answer is depends. And that depends on what it is that you're trying to get fit for. So if you are trying to, and believe me, I've had some revelations this week as well. If you're trying to get fit for a hiking adventure and what you do, I'll use my example, is I run a lot, then I really need to start to shift my focus now that my running season is kind of over and shift it to hiking, because hiking is the priority. I won't be hiking fit unless I focus on the hiking. So running will get me cardio fit, running will keep me strong, but it won't get me all over body fit for hiking. And by that, I mean, I need to be strong through my core to hold my pack, to minimize my chance of my back getting sore. I need to be strong in the legs, strong in all the muscles that are going to support all my joints so my knees don't get sore when I go downhill, so I can get up and down off the ground, so I can squat, so I can lift that pack. It's strong in the back and shoulders so I can lift my pack, whatever it is, a day pack or a full pack, onto my knee and then onto my back. Am I doing, another question for am I fit enough? Am I doing the same trails over and over again? If I'm doing the same thing over and over again, I'm probably getting really good at it. But it's also really predictable. So if I'm not confident going downhill because my knees hurt or it's slippery or it's gravelly or whatever it might be, but I keep practicing on that same hill and I get really, really good at it, I may get myself into this false sense of confidence that I'm good at going down all hills. So, am I fit enough is to start to vary those trails that you go on, vary the distance, vary the intensity, the speed, the incline. Am I focused on building my hiking skills, or have I got a random approach? So walking is great, and walking will build time on our legs, but walking alone isn't particular hiking fitness. So for me, I have a whole lot of hikes coming up this year because, this pandemic kept us at bay for quite a lot of years. And it's really time to double down now to not only make sure that I, preserve the best of me, but that I get the best out of the adventure as well. Because it's one thing to go, yeah, I'm fit enough, but another thing to get there and realize at the end of the first day that, yeah, I'm not really fit enough at all. And I should have done more training, because everyone can say, I should have. But we have the great opportunity right now to say, I can and I will. Now, I'm talking a lot and I've got a sore throat. So I would love some comments. And Margaret is in rainy Cairns. Good to see you back on form. And Margaret, good to see you back on form as well. And you haven't been for a walk for a week. Neither have I. I think I've walked up my stairs once. The other thing is, have you allowed enough time in your fitness training? So with life, with isolation, with COVID, with just hiccups and things that happen, have you allowed enough time? Now, I know that, one of the things is you don't need to train forever and ever, but what's your baseline of fitness? Is it that you can comfortably walk, 4 times a week, or let's hike 3 times a week with 5 kilos in your pack for 5 kilometers at a time? Is that your baseline? What is your baseline? So that if a hiccup comes, you are actually going to maintain that level of fitness. You won't lose fitness with a week or 2 out, but you won't gain fitness if you only do it randomly every other week or so. No comments. Hope you're all still watching. And also, are you doing the same challenge with the same people all the time? Are you challenging yourself? Are you doing the same trails? Are you doing the same distance, the same time, the same terrain with the same people? If they're moving ahead at the same pace as you, they're great training buddies, but you both need to challenge each other and move along a little bit further and faster. So think of this river as it grows, and the little droplets is that each droplet that adds, or each time you show up and do your training, you're getting stronger. And as that strength gathers, the river system starts to build a bit more force. And that's what's going to happen with your fitness, but you can't resist it. You need to, push yourself along and move yourself a little bit more, so that you gain and benefit from that momentum of what you've put in so far. And do you understand the load, the intensity, the duration, and the endurance? So when someone says to me, am I fit enough for a hike? They're all the questions we should be asking ourselves before we ask somebody else. So do I understand what it is about this adventure? Do I understand where I fit in all of that as well? And like I said, if you're a member, we help you with all of that. That's all inside the membership. You have access to us all the time, and we're always talking about that. So am I fit enough is one of them. And if you're not a member, then jump on and join. Membership is open right now. The second one is to make hiking your priority. My words are getting all mixed up. Karen says, great reminder, you get out what you put in for fitness, enjoyment, and connections. Absolutely. And with anything in life, Karen, that is exactly the right thing. Kristen says, still here, processing the info and working out how it all fits together for me. Fantastic. And Suzanne says, I agree with you, Yvonne. Random exercise is great, but the real benefit comes from training on a regular basis and with goals to improve. Absolutely, it does. And sometimes we feel that life has thrown the curveball. But hey, that's just a duck and a weave to the side. And we get back on track. Just like that river sometimes gets diverted off course, and then it comes back onto the path that it's creating. And Laurie says, if I get a hiccup in physical training, I donate time to meditation. Absolutely. Getting up here, right, is just as important. So secondly is to make hiking your priority. So if you have a trek in mind, and now that the world's open, there's no limit to where we can go, right? And I know that we're full for our adventures or a couple of spots for 22, but we'll soon be releasing what's happening in 23. And let me assure you, that's very, very exciting. But if you want to be successful, then you need to put that as your priority. And we can always make time for the things that are important to us. And whatever is important to you is the thing that you will make time for. So if you want to have a successful hiking adventure, then make the time for it. It's easy to get distracted by bright, shiny objects. So the bright, shiny objects are things like, someone says, let's go and do a charity walk here. Or someone says, let's go start running over here. Or someone says, let's go do this or that. Work out what your priority is and where it fits into your adventure, into your hiking plans. The other thing is that, it's when I say it's easy to get distracted by those bright, shiny objects, it is. For me, I hike and I run, and, there's lots of fun runs out there at the moment that I'd love to do. But if I start focusing on that, then my hiking will suffer. And that's not going to suffer because I've got too many things invested in it. There's too much time, there's too much money, there's too much effort, there's too much of my physical well-being that needs to be preserved in terms of my joints and my muscles and my mental health for me to distract my focus from my hiking training. Like it's hiking training all the way at the moment. The other thing in making your hiking training your priority is, are you committed to the plan? Are you really committed to what you want to do? Because if you're committed, you'll move mountains literally to make your plan happen. And it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be fast. It needs to be consistent. So let me check in with Wendy. Training consistently over time, I was well and truly fit for my latest adventure. Since fracturing your toe, I think there's another part coming to your story. And Vanessa says she was recently thrilled to successfully achieve 17 kilometers per day for 3 days, carrying 6 kilos. By successful, I mean no body or foot aches and feeling fantastic through the whole hike. Training little by little really does pay off. Absolutely, it does. And, you know, some people can luck it in and do 17 kilos 3 days in a row. And I certainly find that even for me, I need to do the training. If I want to feel great after, I really need to focus on the training. And it's a confidence thing too, because if you've trained for it, you'll know how it will work. So Wendy says, since fracturing my toe, I have been unable to train and noticed my fitness level has plummeted. Yeah, Wendy, and that's the thing, that fitness levels will plummet. So if your fitness is here and you take some time off, the fitter you are, you know, a 10% drop will take you quite a way down. If you're not particularly fit, you know, wherever you are on your journey, and a 10% drop just takes you a little bit further down. So, you know, think of it as just a hiccup. There is muscle memory that once we get back into it. And the other thing is, you know, when we make hiking a priority, are we caring and nurturing for our body as well? Are we doing our warm-ups? Are we doing our stretches? Are we doing, you know, those deep, long stretches that are protecting all the muscles and protecting all the joints, that are building that strength? So it's not just about hiking, it's about the functional fitness as well. Yelena says, and Jelena says, looking forward to starting Couch to Mountain. A fitness goal is great to work towards. Absolutely. And the Couch to Mountain program, and I know Mandy and a couple of others are on here as well, is fantastic. It teaches you all of this information that we're going through in a very methodical, consistent way, and delivers you the skills that you can then take on for a long time. And the other thing is, do you listen to your body? So, you know, we can, and I've mentioned this before, when it comes to, am I fit enough, making hiking our priority, are we listening to our body? Are we getting enough sleep? Are we, you know, when there's a niggle, are we listening to that niggle, or are we ignoring it? Are we listening to the whisper, or are we waiting for the shout to come? Because it's through understanding our body. Do we know when we feel too hot? Do we know what feeling that we haven't drunk enough water feels like? Do we know, you know, when we might have pulled a muscle? Do we know what all those feelings are like? And maybe we don't have to know exactly, but we need to know when it doesn't feel right. And by listening to our body, we can take action. So when we make hiking, the adventure, whatever it might be, even if it's travel, the priority, we start to really tune in to what it is our body needs and wants so that we can be successful. And then the third one is, like the river, showing up time and time again. So do you have a plan? Do you have the she'll be right approach? I've done this before. It might have been a couple of years ago, but she'll be right. If they can do it, I can do it, and I'll just get it and I'll wing it when I get there. Do you get to a point and think, well, that'll be good enough. They did it. Look at her. That, you know, she could do it. I could. Remembering that everybody is unique and everybody has their own set of skills and experience that they bring to a situation. And take it from me that only you know whether you've done enough or not, but the truth is told on the trail. The other thing is, do you have a baseline? And I touched on this just before, for your hiking fitness. So what is your standard level that you could, you know, even if you're laid out for a week and windy with your toe, that you know that, you know, when that toe's feeling good enough to feel okay in shoes, and you know you're not going to do longer damage when you get back into your boots, is that you can comfortably do, you know, 5 kilometers on the flat or whatever it might be. What is your baseline? And then let's build off that baseline. So if I bring the analogy of marathon runners, you know, anyone can train for a marathon, but if you are a regular marathon runner, your baseline is doing about 16 kilometers a week before you start into a 3-month training program. So if we think of hiking that way, find what your baseline is, where you know, this is my minimum level of fitness for hiking that I'm going to accept, that I'm going to base it on, and then move forward from there. Meg says, and I know Meg because we've had a chat, I'm a big fan of a plan. This is like a tongue twister. I am a big fan of a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Kristen says, winging it is not easy as I get older. Yeah, Kristen, I was actually lying in bed the last couple of days going, yeah, winging it is not easy. And the thing is, as we get older, we want to make sure that we can still do all these amazing things. It's not even simply, we need to make sure that when we do these things that we're aware of our body, that we're doing these things for fun and enjoyment, and being able to make ourselves strong before we go, so we can preserve all our joints and our muscles and protect them and minimize any chance of injury or illness, so that when we get back, we're raving about what a great time we had, not about our, sore knee or shoulder or whatever it might be. So it's all of this in the lead up, in the preparation. And winging it does get harder as we get older. The other thing is, what do you spend your time on? So if hiking is our priority, if our that adventure out there is the priority, what do we spend our time on? Do we spend our time wishing we were getting stronger, or do we spend our time researching about what type of fitness do I need, or doing some exercises, or understanding more about the body as well, or researching the terrain that you're going to be walking on? What type of movement happens in the feet? Do I need more balance, less balance? And what do you do when you get a niggle? We've all got niggles. So what do you do when you get a niggle? I was talking to my trainer on the phone today, and I said, I had a bit of a niggle over Easter. I had this, there's this muscle between our lower rib and the top of our hip, and it's called the quadratus lumborum. And I literally froze that muscle over the Easter break. I don't know what I did, and couldn't lift my right leg. And I was talking to my trainer about it, and he said, Yvonne, that's a niggle. You need to make sure that you go and see a physio, which I will do once I get out of this isolation thing. So, do you know the niggles? Do you know when something doesn't feel right? Because when you show up time and again, your body will start to tell you all of this stuff. And sometimes we can get, yours truly here as well, a little bit complacent because we think we know it all. We've done it before. We've had successful hikes under our belt before. I know how it is. I can just chuck on a 17-kilo backpack and go do that trail in the Northern Territory because I've done it before. And as Kristen had said there, winging it as we get older is not an easy thing to do. It does get a little bit harder. If we think that winging it is the way to do it. So they're my 3 things when I get asked, and they're very long, how do I get fit for a hike? Am I fit enough? All these things. How do I be adventure ready? One is, ask yourself those questions. Am I fit enough? And all those things that were in there. Secondly is to make hiking your priority. So it's not swimming, it's not bike riding, it's hiking, if that's what you're booked on or planning to do, and to show up time and time again. Think of it like if you're still at work or if you're retired, think of what work like used to be, but this is much more fun, is that you have a commitment to this job, if you like, this wonderful, wonderful job of a hiking adventure for yourself, and show up again and again and be your best self every time that you show up. And like I said at the very beginning, like the Maranoa River that I stood in front of and then stood down right at the other end of Australia, from little things, big things will grow. I hope you all agree or have some comment about that. And like I said, for all our members, this is the stuff we talk about all the time inside Women's Fitness Adventures. And if you're not a member, then, you can take advantage of that and jump on and become a member today. But the most important thing about it all, a lot of that sounded like hard work, but it's fun. You know, once you get on an adventure, you've done the hard work. You know, the boxer doesn't win the fight in the ring. He wins the fight with the training that he's done. You know, do the training. I know at our hike about in Brisbane that some of the ladies complain to me that I'm making them do yet another hill. But they say to me when we're on the adventure, the hill is actually a fantastic thing that you've taught us to do, because I'm actually really comfortable now when we're on a multi-day hike. I get there, I enjoy it, I wake up every day ready to go again because I've put in the training over time. So let me check in on some comments. So Annie says she joined in January and ready to train and join the hikes. The COVID booster had other ideas. Still suffer that nerve damage in your lower limb and can't walk more than a few meters. Doing your exercise routines and following your inspirational, that's lovely, talks and newsletters. Expectation, great, but doc says may take months. Love your chats and your advice. You know, and sometimes, Annie, as I said, that curveball does come our way. It doesn't mean that we need to stop everything that we do when it comes to our fitness, but your priority now is to nurture yourself and work with your health professionals and do the things that you're able to do. And when we do the functional fitness, we modify it for you so that we can do things from the chair as well, which still will build body strength, you know, build core and build shoulder and mental stamina as well, and keep you connected to the community. So they're the things that I wanted to share tonight. I've still got my duck. I hope you have got something out of that. I know that everyone's been pretty quiet. I don't know whether you're expecting me to be a nice, warm and fuzzy tonight, or maybe I've just hit you too hard. Jennifer says we might complain, but we definitely benefit from the hills at Hike About. Patricia says, to me, the important thing is to be as fit as I possibly can as I become older. I'm so much better than I was this time last year. Absolutely. And Patricia, I was thinking about you today, and I was thinking about quite a few of our ladies that joined in May last year. So it's coming up a year, and you joined after our 5 kilometers for 5 days challenge. And I was thinking about you guys, you know, where are you now compared to a year ago? And we'll be in touch with you this week, because I think that your stories are all inspirational, because I have a new marketing coordinator who started last week virtually with me, who is here in Brisbane, called Kate. And I was talking to her about several of our members who joined last May in the 5 kilometers for 5 days, and just how far you have come, starting from one simple challenge of walking 5 kilometers a day for 5 days. And, you know, I think with that, I know with that challenge, all it takes sometimes is someone to extend the olive branch of this is the path ahead, like the river, this is the path ahead, and this is where it needs to take you. And for some people, the ones who became members have embraced that, and their lives have absolutely changed, as you say, Patricia, and feel stronger, you know, as every minute that we all get older. If we can hold on to our strength and our functionality, we can hold on to our independence, and we can hold on to our freedoms as well. For the people who didn't join on the 5K last year, I'd love to know where they are. A lot had said to me that they had the skills now and were able to do that on their own. I know from my 15 years experience working in women's health and fitness that it doesn't work. It takes I used to own a gym, and as much as women over 50 want to come to the gym 3 times a week, something always got in the way. You have to be highly, highly motivated to do something on your own, and having that community of support around you really makes the difference to where Patricia is, and Mandy, and Kristen and Kathy and Rosalind, and and all our other wonderful women, Brodwyn, who joined us in May last year. Thanks, Brodwyn. Good info. Thanks, Tess. Always make you focus. That's lovely. You make me focus too. Suzanne says, thanks for the hills and insightful chats. Achievement of hiking Mount Edwards on the weekend with no niggles. That's fantastic. And Suzanne's coming back from injury and illness. So that is just amazing to see. And, and it can happen to any of us. Margaret says, not as good as I want to be, but so much better than I was. So looking forward to it. And you know what? We can all set high expectations of ourselves that we're never going to be as good as we want to be. But hey, we're doing so much more than people who aren't doing anything at all. Mandy says, the challenge changed my life, the 5K challenge. And you can read Mandy's story. It's amazing. Or everyone's story is amazing. We're digging them out. 12 months on, and it's incredible. And Mandy, I was thinking about you today as well as you were doing your walk, your hike along the beach today, and just how you've literally taken it and turned your life around. Yep. And Annie did the 5 kilometers for 5 days as well. Yep. And Kerry says, I love that you said having fun along the way is so important. Getting to the adventure not ready would not be fun. And you say if we turn up consistently, we will get results. Absolutely, we do. You know, with anything, with study, with a kid learning to walk, with learning to ride a bike, with anything, if you show up regularly, you just have to show up to start with. Get your pack on, get your hiking shoes on and out the door. And if you can't manage that, then just get out the door with your sand shoes on and show up and walk for 5 minutes. And guaranteed after walking for 5 minutes, you'll want to walk for more. So showing up is the hardest part. And then showing up consistently becomes like that mighty river and gets you to this magnificent thing at the end. It's amazing. And Mandy Brodwin says, you have come so far. Everyone in this world has come so far. It's just amazing to see. Hello, Gwen. And Gwen says, finding my tribe with Women's Fitness Adventures has also been life-changing for me too. Oh, Gwen, it's so lovely to see you, Gwen, again. I haven't, as I said, I feel like I've been out of the loop for a couple of weeks, which I have, and living in my own little land, which I have, and I'm back, and it'll take a little while for me to get back into the swing of it. So that's it from me tonight. Like I said, for members, I look forward to diving in and spending a fair bit of time with you in the coming days and weeks as I get back into the groove of work and my voice has come back. And if you're not a member and wish to join, membership is open, so you can jump onto the website, womensfitnessadventures.com/join membership. We will be having celebrations in May for 8 years. So look out for that. We'll have some more details coming out soon. We've got a special thing for our members too. Our girls head off to having a brain freeze here, to Royal National Park next week. Oh, not next week, the one after. So next week we'll be wishing them luck. And then we head off for our 8th anniversary to Great Ocean Road in a couple of weeks. Cake by the ocean for us. And life is just, pretty exciting now that we can move freely around and get back into the hiking world. So thank you for joining me tonight. Yes, woohoo, Brodwin, a party. And we will be sharing some information about how all of our members can party with us through the month of May. So that's it from me for tonight. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll be back next Monday night, which is another public holiday here in Queensland for Labor Day. So this has been like 4 weeks in a row. And I look forward. Yes, I'm going to leave on this. Alvina, another great chat session. So much inspiration to never give up. Never give up. Never give up. It's not a great alternative. We have so much inside of us. And even if we are literally, walking like a tortoise, we're moving. And that's the most important thing. So thanks again, everyone. Yes, please stay well. Look after yourself. And I will catch you around the traps during the week or here next week. Thanks. Bye.